You've probably heard of Chaka Zulu, the powerful leader who built the famous Zulu kingdom in the 19th century. But do you know the story of an even more powerful African ruler, who existed long before Chaka Zulu and is even considered to be greater than him? By the end of the 17th century, the Monomatapa Empire was gradually declining, while the Portuguese snuck into the region south of the Zambezi, hungry for wealth and power. However, one man stands up with determination, ready to liberate the Monomatapa Empire from the grip of the mighty Portuguese Empire. He defied and triumphed over these foreign invaders on several occasions, creating the Rozvi Empire, one of the largest empires ever seen in Africa. His victory was so impressive that even the Portuguese never dared to attack this territory again. This is the story of a little-known man, whose name has become synonymous with power, courage and even terror among the Portuguese, Changa Maya Dumbo. How did this simple cattle herder overcome obstacles to become a ruthless conqueror, an undisputed leader, and a revered emperor? Sit back, because the story that follows is well worth knowing. Here we go. How can we talk about Changa Maya Dumbo without mentioning the history of the Monomatapa Empire? Oral sources, although long neglected, proved to be of great value in reconstructing the history of the Monomatapa. Tracing the formation of this empire, the successor to the state of Zimbabwe, would be difficult, if not impossible, without using the information transmitted by oral tradition. The Monomatapa was built by the Shona people and existed from 1450 to 1629 with Great Zimbabwe as its capital. Located on a plateau between the Zambezi and Limpopo rivers, at an altitude of 1,000 meters, its development has not been hindered by its geographical isolation, but rather encouraged. The term Monomatapa comes from the Shona royal title Monomatapa or Monhumutapa, meaning conquering man. The ruling dynasty of Monomatapa began with Nyatsimba Mutota, who was the first ruler of the Monomatapa kingdom. His son and successor, Matope, expanded the kingdom even further northward, covering much of present-day Zimbabwe, Mozambique and Malawi. By subduing neighboring kingdoms, he created a large federal state or empire. While Mutota is remembered as the founder of the kingdom, it is his son Matope who is the great conqueror. In any case, both are given the nickname Mimutapa, meaning a lord of the devastated lands. Moreover, Emperor Matope was considered the god of the sun and the moon, king of the earth and rivers and conqueror of enemies. Monomatapa was wealthy from the gold trade and its agricultural activity. It had fertile land for agriculture and was protected from tsetse flies. Cattle were crucial to the economy, and taxes from vassal kingdoms enriched the emperor. His government was solid, led by an emperor with 9 ministers and vassal kings. Not to mention the women, who had an important role as advisors and ambassadors. However, the arrival of Portuguese explorers would have a significant impact on the Monomatapa Empire. At first, relations between them were rather mixed, but they quickly deteriorated for Africans. In 1629, the Monomatapa tried to expel their occupants, but the Portuguese overthrew their king and installed Mavuramkan Felipe in his place. This gave the appearance of independence, but the Monomatapa became a vassal of the Portuguese Empire. The Portuguese now had the right to set up trading posts and access gold mines, which diminished the fame of the Monomatapa Empire. Thus, the empire gradually lost its independence until a second kingdom was formed. This new, much smaller Monomatapa was subjected to Portuguese interference in its political affairs. In addition, there is a loss of identity, with a growing influence of Islam on the east coast and Christianity inland. The Portuguese, looking for slaves, supplied arms to vassal kings to weaken the central power and make it easier to obtain slaves. This situation persisted until the end of the 19th century, when the British recaptured part of the territory during the colonization of Africa, marking the beginning of European domination of the continent. Now let's go back to Monomatapa, around 1650, where a little boy named Changa Maya Dumbo was born. His parents didn't know it yet, but this baby was going to revolutionize the entire history of Southern Africa. Some believe that he is the son of Matope, while others believe that he is the son of one of the rulers of the Towa kingdom. However, these two theories converge because the Towa kings were related to the Mwin Mutopas, rulers of the empire with the same name. Changa Maya Dumbo, as the eldest son of the king's first wife, had special responsibilities from birth. He was to take care of the kingdom as a man takes care of his family. He grew up as a cattle herder for the Motopa chiefs, like many other young people his age. But in the 1670s, he began to use the sovereign's herd of cattle to attract supporters. The more followers he has, the more his power, influence, and wealth increase. Over time, his ambitions grew. Changa Maya Dumbo then began to prepare a plan to become more independent of the rulers of the Monomatapa Empire. He even challenged the authority of the Motopa chieftains, already weakened by the Portuguese, by seizing lands in the northeast of the empire, which had previously been under their control. These victories fueled his higher ambition, that is, to become the ruler of the largest empire in the region. By the 1680s, Chono had also greatly increased his influence in the southwest, where he overthrew the Towo dynasty. But another great threat from abroad loomed over Changa Maya's ambitions, the Portuguese. After many years of fair trade with African kingdoms, the Portuguese were tired of paying tribute to the Motopa rulers for gold, a valuable resource abundant in their territory. They then decided to rebel and colonize parts of the Monomatapa Empire. But Changa Maya Dumbo is determined to defeat anyone who tries to invade what he considers his territory, even if he has to face many enemies at the same time. In 1683, the Portuguese army, without further ado, tried to definitively take control of the gold trade by attacking the Rozvi kingdom. This angers Changa Maya Dumbo, and he decides to challenge them. The first military confrontation between the latter and the Portuguese took place shortly before June 1684, at the Battle of Mongwe. Against all odds, the Rozvi, armed with their traditional spears and shields, managed to fend off the Portuguese's firearms and keep control of the gold mines. Both armies prepare for the final battle on the battlefield and plan to continue the fight the next day. At 1 a.m., the Portuguese woke up to find that they were surrounded by fires lit by Rozvi women on the orders of Changa Maya Dumbo. Frightened, the Portuguese and their African allies from Monomatapa fled into the night, abandoning their camp. At sunrise, Changa Maya Dumbo's army destroyed the Portuguese camp. But Changa Maya decided not to pursue them because of the losses suffered by his army and the need to deal with the Motopa's chiefs, including some Portuguese, who had invaded the kingdom of Butua. Changa Maya Dumbo's army eventually defeated this force, killing about 5,000 people. After defeating the Portuguese, the former shepherd gained the respect of the people and was given the title of Changa Maya, Lord. Indeed, Amaya is an Arabic word that means commander. Changa Maya's victory gave him the legitimacy to rule the empire and break away from the Monomatapa Empire. Subsequently, he moved south to conquer the cities of Neltel and Danengom, establishing the latter as the capital of the new state or empire which he named Rozvi. Monomatapa then became a small, insignificant state, and Portuguese influence was limited to a few small trading forts in Mozambique. Instead of fighting, the Portuguese and Rozvi again established a partnership based on trade and mutual protection, with the Rozvi taking a largely dominant position. Regarding the Rozvi Empire, it was a state ruled by Changa Maya Dumbo and his son Chamgamire Dombo, based in Butua, in southwestern Africa. Their military strength is based on a well-trained and disciplined army, made up of Rozvi warriors, renowned for their skill in battle. They were known for their technological advancement, especially in stone construction, and for their economic activities centered on animal husbandry, agriculture, hunting, and trade. The political system was hierarchical, with the king as the supreme authority, advised by a council comprising officials appointed by himself, as well as his wives, the crown prince, religious and military leaders. In Rozvi culture, the leopard was revered as a symbol of power and courage, with its skin reserved for high-ranking individuals. Among the Rozvi, Mori was the main deity, and kings were considered chosen by Mori, thus giving their power a divine dimension. In 1692, on the death of King Com, a power struggle broke out between the Rozvi and the Portuguese. The latter want to place their candidate Mond, while Com's brother, Changamire, is the legitimate choice supported by Changa Maya Dumbo. Changamire won the election and asked for military help from Changa Maya to punish the insolent Portuguese priests and traders. In November of the same year, Chamgamire Dombo, the son of Changa Maya, attacked with his Rozvi warriors and allies of Monomatapa, the Portuguese colony of Feira, in the region of Dombo. They destroyed everything and drove the Portuguese out of the kingdom. Almost all the Portuguese left their settlements in the region, but some remained in Manica territory, which angered Changa Maya very much. While the Portuguese tried to regain their position in the country, Changa Maya's forces attacked the last Portuguese stronghold of Manica in 1695, forcing the Portuguese inhabitants to flee. The Rozvi even replaced the local ruler and controlled all the gold mining territories from the Botwa region to Manica, becoming the main kingdom of the region, surpassing the Monomatapa. A shrewd strategist, Changa Maya strengthened his power by conquering other empires, destroying capitals, and unifying other Shona peoples. His reputation as a brilliant strategist grew rapidly, bolstered by his brutality and intimidation tactics. Portuguese accounts even claim that he possessed supernatural or witchcraft powers, such as changing the color of a white cow to red. As a result, the name Changa Maya became an honorific title for all kings who succeeded him. Until his death in 1696, Changa Maya Dumbo was feared and his disappearance led to the flight of several Portuguese from the Zimbabwean plateau. However, he lived long enough to see his ambition come to fruition, the founding of the Rozvi Empire. In fact, his lineage, the Changa Mayas, would continue to reign for more than 400 years. His life was marked by a remarkable feat. From the ruins of the Empire of Monomatapa, he built an empire larger and more powerful than his predecessors. The Rozvi state had a strong army to protect itself, attack, and keep the peace. However, their power began to decline due to droughts, succession disputes, and devastating foreign attacks, most notably those carried out by Queen Nyamozanona around 1831. Despite this, the Rozvi managed to survive until King Mzilikotsi, a former general of Choka Zulu and founder of the Maidbil Kingdom, struck the fatal blow in 1866. Despite the remarkable resilience of the Rozvi, led at that time by Changa Maya Towechipi, who eventually submitted, this marked the end of the Rozvi Empire and the Changa Maya dynasty. Mzilikotsi died in 1868, leaving the Matabele Kingdom in the hands of his son, Lobengula. And you, what do you think of Changa Maya Dombo's career? Have you ever heard of him? Personally, I find this character fascinating, although he is very little known today. As you know, many of us Africans feel lost in our identity because of our disconnection from our own history. Thank you for being with us. Take care and see you soon.